Day, the Wonder Twins.
Hey!
I'm Brian Fellows.
Yes, yep. he is Brian Fellows.
That twin is not Brian Fellow.
That bird trying to buy a stereo with my credit card.
Anyways, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Big shout outs to everybody that's hit us up on the internet this week, as well as leaving reviews on the iTunes store. We appreciate all that stuff. If you haven't done either of those things, you should. One, because we're cool people on the internet, and two, because we want to know how you like the show, and you should tell us that.
Well, I mean, and if you don't tell us that, then the gentle ginger giant will become like the Hulk, and will Hulk smash your face, despite
he will ginger smash your face.
He ginger smash.
That, and also we're tracking way behind missing Richard Simmons. So the fact that we have to say a podcast about Richard Simmons is ranking way higher than ours. We've got a ways to go, people. We got to do something about this.
Yeah. I agree.
Have you located him yet, Chris?
No, but I really wasn't concerned that he was missing. I was kind of fine with where he was. So
our aunt has told the story about the time that Richard Simmons got in a fight in Pensacola. So
that sounds like a great time.
It does. It's a great time and a great oldie that he could sweat to at some point.
Oh, no. Anyways, we've got some nerdy news for you, so we're going to jump right into that right now.
We're going to have a pineapple situation. What should I do? Pineapple. The word that cannot be spoken. Pineapple.
Just want to say pineapple. If
Pineapples are fun. My dad used to throw them at me.
Pineapple.
Seriously? Wow.
So, guys, guess what's a must-watch? Tell
Barney.
Well, yeah, I guess
if you're into that, I mean, maybe I'm more of a Boo Balls person. Maybe
My
Barney.
Girl, starring Macaulay Culkin.
Yes, exactly. Who doesn't love that? Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yes, that one. Released a trailer on Monday, and most people that I know have been mixed about the Thor series. I mean, the first movie is kind of universally panned. The second movie was a little better. This is a must-watch, people.
It looks excellent.
It does. Like, this is a must-watch trailer. Go on the YouTubes and look this up. It starts with the churning riff of Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song.
The way it should.
It does. So, I mean, it's really an amazing start to it. And it gives us a lot of fresh looks into the series. We're so used to all the standard constructs of Thor and the kingdom and all this, that, and the other. But it shows Heimdall, Idris Elba out fighting. I mean, not watching over anything, just fighting.
Just cutting loose.
It does. It shows Loki out twisting some blades. And somebody else makes a surprise appearance, the Hulk.
Yes. So
we'd all heard references about the Hulk being in the movie, but now we get our first glimpse at him in the trailer. And of course we get our first looks at Valkyrie and Hela, I believe. Hela or Hela?
I've always said Hela.
Hela, yes, that. Let's go with that. So we see that, and of course she's Marvel's first primary female villain in the cinematic universe. So that's been a really, really big boom there. Yeah. And then, of course, the biggest shocking part of the trailer is, what is it called, Chris?
Mjolnir
gets crushed.
Close enough.
Just guess that. Thor's hammer just gets crushed.
Oh, yeah. I saw a really awesome meme today about that. So it's Cate Blanchett as Hela that catches Mjolnir when Thor throws it at her. But the meme I saw, it was that screenshot, and it was Bucky Barnes from Sebastian Stan's character from Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when he catches Captain America's shield. And it says, apparently in the MCU, if you wear lots of eyeliner, you can catch anything. It was the best. It was the best meme.
Eyeliner has the secret sauce.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh, and it's really neat that we got to see Cate Blanchett, because I was really getting upset about and kind of disappointed about the dearth of pale actresses. Ever since what happened, Tilda Swinton. I was really getting concerned that there might not be that actress trope in a Marvel Cinematic movie, but I was totally wrong.
I just hope she's 100% more compelling than her character in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I just really hope that.
I'm just going to pretend like we didn't even bring that movie up.
Yes. It 100% less that.
I do love Tilda Swinton, and I love Cate Blanchett. I think they are excellent actresses. So I say that in a teasing realm, so nobody get triggered by that comment.
Triggered.
Triggered. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok, supposedly, the trailer said coming soon, but all the sources say it's going to launch November 3rd. So look for it on November 3rd, Lord willing, hopefully, and we will see what happens there. Pineapple.
Manu Bennett was Slade Wilson in season 2 of The Arrow.
Okay.
It has been announced that he is going to be returning to the DC CW TV shows. However, it has been very vaguely announced. So we don't know what show he's going to be returning to, except for the fact that he tweeted, "For the record, I'm not going back for Arrow. Hashtag assumption is the mother of all ... I don't know if he understands that ellipses do not attach themselves to hashtags. That's not how that works. Secondly, how many people have used the hashtag assumption is the mother of all?
None.
Yeah, approximately 0. But anyways, that leaves the door open for, with him not going back for Arrow, it leaves the door open for Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, or Supergirl, or potentially Powerless, which would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would.
But that's not on the CW, that's on NBC, so it doesn't really matter.
So it'll get canceled, right?
Oh man, I really hope Powerless doesn't get canceled. It's so funny. And legitimately, Powerless has the most amazing opening credit sequence of anything on television right now. I stand by that statement 100%.
Yeah.
It's outstanding. But
yeah, you can find some good gems in that.
Yeah. But my thing is, I really liked Manu Bennett as Deathstroke. I did not like Manu Bennett as Slade Wilson.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how he comes back and for how long. Hopefully it's a 1 or 2, maybe it's a crossover thing where he shows up in a couple episodes of an episode of Flash and Supergirl, or an episode of Legends. I wouldn't be surprised if he just shows up in Legends of Tomorrow, because that whole show is basically one giant flashback. But we'll see. It's interesting to see that, to hear that he's kind of coming back in some capacity. I just don't know what that capacity is going to be.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
One of these days.
One of these days, if we ever get to the end of that hashtag ellipsis.
Yeah. As soon as he tells us what assumption is the mother of.
I don't know. I thought it'd be the mother of Lady Gaga.
Pineapple.
Well, Guillermo Del Toro, in a recent interview with Collider, via Birth Movies Death, which is a pretty popular website for such subjects, Del Toro talked about his busy schedule and how, really he was doing some fan service. He wanted to make certain to answer some questions about Star Wars. And one of the questions was if he would ever basically helm a Star Wars movie. He stressed he was no way involved with one at the moment, but he wouldn't rule it out. And furthermore, and this is where it gets a little strange, that I would have never really thought it would go in this direction. He was asked, well, if you were to helm a Star Wars movie, what type of movie would you like to helm? he said he would like to helm a Jabba the Hutt movie.
I can so get behind that.
And honestly, I can kind of see it because Jabba is a gross, kind of disgusting character that has a lot of depth to him as well. I mean, there's a lot of backstory there that was, kind of signaled at with Rogue One.
But then also, there's almost the rogues gallery of people that surround Jabba. His sliminess is all over the galaxy. Like, everybody knows Jabba the Hutt.
Right.
So there's so much potential there.
Yeah, and I think it would be excellent. I would love to see a gangster Jabba the Hutt movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is literally like the Star Wars equivalent of the Mafia, which he actually kind of references in his interview, that he'd like to do sort of a Godfather saga that Jabba the Hutt has to go through to gain control. And really, we don't know how Jabba got control of everything, so it would be interesting to see kind of how that flows.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, each of the trilogies has their own Jabba, kind of. I mean, if you kind of think about it, Watto on a small scale in the first trilogy, the prequel.
Even though Jabba was in that one, but a very small role.
Yeah. Of course, in the main trilogy, you've got Jabba, and kind of in in the most recent trilogy. I apologize. Trilogy. Oh gosh, whenever the place where they go, whenever they find the mysterious lightsaber, the lady that runs that place, I forget what her name is.
Oh my gosh, I want to say Maz, but that's not.
Yeah,
right.
that's
that's
Maz.
it,
That's
Maz,
exactly.
yes.
It. I apologize,
Yeah.
Star Wars fans. Maz, yes, she kind of has a little bit of that feel to her as well, to some extent. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think that a Jabba movie would fit right in line with what they've done with the trilogy so far.
I agree. I think it would be such a fun, like, they've been talking about doing all these standalone movies. I think it would be a fun thing to pursue in that. Like Rogue One gave us the prequel to the original trilogy, and I think that this one would be a really interesting prequel to the original trilogy as well. Just from a more disconnected standpoint.
Oh, yeah. And there'd be no way Jabba could die in it, unlike a certain other movie that we've previously talked about, where maybe everybody died.
No.
I know.
Sad.
But one day, maybe a Jabba the Hutt movie will be coming. Pineapple!
James Gunn, who is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, was recently asked, who would you want to bring to space for Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, what character that we have right now would you want to bring into Guardians? He had the best answer, and I want it to happen. And it was Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin from Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
That's perfect. What he said was, the one guy I'd love to bring to outer space is Kingpin from Daredevil TV show. So I don't know if I'd want to bring an Avenger into outer space. I wouldn't mind bringing Wilson Fisk up there to see what he would do, though.
Well,
It's like, that is the best answer.
I think anytime you can add a little bit of calamity in with a film plot like that, to add a little twist or mystique to it,
Yeah.
I think it could turn out really well.
Well, and the thing is Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Wilson Fisk, he is hands down the best villain that we have had. He plays the best villain that we have had potentially in the entire MCU. Like, it's definitely arguable. I think Hugo Weaving's Red Skull would probably be up there for some people.
In terms of memorability, certainly.
Yeah, Cottonmouth from Luke Cage would be up there. I think we do have some good bad guys, But Wilson Fisk, I would love to see up there because he's kind of crazy. So, like, to see
he got a little bit of craze.
To see him go to space, like, I feel like it would be so catastrophic. And I think that would be a really exciting thing to see.
I honestly think that would work really well. Honestly, and it's so fascinating that we just went from talking about a random thing like Guillermo Del Toro talking about a Jabba the Hutt movie to putting Wilson Fisk in space. I mean, this is...
It is Jabba the Hutt. Like, it's basically Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I mean, really, truly, and honestly, I think Hollywood, and granted, movie production's slowing down a little bit, but granted, I like the fact that Hollywood is at a point, especially with Netflix series, that they're okay with throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Honestly, anything could happen.
Yeah, and I think this would be really excellent. I just don't know. It would be really difficult to make it work. But I think that James Gunn, if anybody, could make it work. And I think it'd be really interesting to see how it panned out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, pineapple.
Oh, well, the world's most favorite operating system, only behind how much people love Windows 8. Windows Vista.
Yay.
On this day, you'll be listening to this, of course, on the 13th, but as of today, the 11th, is the end of life of extended support for Vista, meaning it is officially dead.
Yay.
Vista, yes, thank you, Microsoft. Vista's getting no more updates. It's the end of the line. There's nothing else that's going to be done to Vista. It was released to manufacturing on November 8th, 2006, and it shipped to consumers starting January 30th, 2007. So Vista's had a little over 10 years on the market.
Jeez.
And it is...
I mean, compare that to XP, which didn't go out of support until, basically 13 years later, which some would say was 3 years too late on that.
Right.
But it's just wild that Vista has stuck around for over 10 years. Vista had a lot of things that helped to bring Windows and Microsoft to where they are now in a positive way. It introduced a more modern-looking UI, which a lot of functions are still in Windows 10. They're trying to bury it with that horrible Metro stuff. I don't like the Metro stuff, but they've still got a good blend of the UIs, starting with Vista and going into Windows 7, in Windows 10. And you also see user account control, which has had a mixed history. Some people haven't liked it, but it's helped to protect computers. So user account control is still present. So Vista laid a lot of the groundwork for what we see in the modern Microsoft Windows infrastructure. At that same, on the other side of the coin, it had so many problems. It was so slow to start up and shut down. As we've mentioned in the past, we do computer repair for a living, and anytime we have a Vista system, it takes forever to start up, takes forever to shut down.
All right, I'm just going to take this with me. I'll bring it back when it's fixed.
Let me hold this power button for 5 seconds every time, because it's not going to shut down in the next 10 minutes. Just all of that.
And I can count on my hand, and it'd probably be 2 fingers, that the number of systems that I've seen quickly boot into Vista. And I still don't know to this day why they booted so quickly into Vista. I think one had 6 gigs of RAM in it.
God's grace? Is that the correct answer?
Yeah. I think that would be correct, because I don't think the processor was exceptional. That I remember distinctly a desktop that just loved Vista, and it booted into it in like less than 30 seconds. And there are Windows 10 computers that will not do that. So I don't know. But yeah, there were just a lot of issues with it booting. It was buggy. The connecting wirelessly was kind of clunky, which Windows 7 improved upon that tremendously. XP applications didn't always work with it, which led to, in Windows 7, XP mode being invented for Windows 7. And basically, within 3 years, it was replaced by Windows 7. So it was.
It's ironic, and I didn't even think about it. On the death day of Vista, No joke. I just today swapped out a Vista computer for a couple and replaced it with a new Windows 10 desktop. So on the death day of Vista, I put one out of its misery.
Nice.
So they're very happy. I certainly hope they will be. So that's quite some sweet irony there.
Right.
I suspect we'll be doing that a lot more in the next few months for our remaining customers that were running Vista mercifully. But yeah, so if you have a Vista computer, please buy a new computer.
Please upgrade. Please.
Yes, please do. Pineapple.
Brie Larson, as we all know, or as we all should know, is cast to play Captain Marvel. So
yes,
she's going to be making her debut in Avengers Infinity War and then later getting her first standalone film, which is exciting.
Well, I mean, she was really disappointed, though, when she found out that the Captain Marvel she was playing was actually the DC Captain Marvel.
No.
So, okay.
No, sir. But she had an interview with Sci-Fi Now magazine, and they basically asked, like, what are you bringing to the table? Like, what are you bringing to the table for Captain Marvel? How do you feel the fans are going to receive her? All this kind of stuff. And she says, to be fair, there are a lot of iterations of Captain Marvel. So there's going to be some people who think I'm not doing this right. She's a believer in truth and justice, and she's a bridge between Earth and space. She's fighting between the flaws that are within her and all this good that she wants to try and spread and make the world a better place. She can also fly and shoot things out of her hands, and she's really funny. So,
Wait. That sounded like Iron Man. She can fly and shoot things out of her hands, and she's really funny. Is
but that's
Iron
like
Woman?
What without the iron.
Okay.
There's no suit.
Okay. Well, that's true.
The suit is just clothes. The suit holds the purpose of covering the naughty bits, and that's it.
Yeah, which is a good purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
It is a family movie.
Uh-huh. But I thought it was a really great thing that she said. There are a lot of iterations, so it's going to be like some people are going to think that she's not doing it right. And I think and we've talked about it time and time again, so I'm not going to beat the dead horse. But I think that's a really important thing to remember in the universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is that it is its own universe. And though it does take on certain things from previous iterations, it is its own new iteration. And that's one thing that we, the fans, have to understand and respect. But Kevin Feige, the Marvel Studios president, has actually said that she will be the most powerful character in the MCU, which is really exciting. I'm really pumped to see how Brie Larson pulls off Captain Marvel. I am still not sure how I feel about Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But that's not anything again. I just don't look at Brie Larson and see Captain Marvel. She's an excellent actress, and I have no doubt in her ability. But we'll see. We'll see. The Avengers Infinity War is coming out real soon. Real soon-ish. Really-ish soon. Captain Marvel's standalone movie is still kind of up in the air, but they're trying to get it released by March 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see how that comes out and how Brie does. Pineapple.
Okay, guys, we got a new hashtag for you because we are all up on the trendy tags of this generation.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's why you made that sentence?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I know what the young ones enjoy.
Sure. All right.
And it's hashtag Nuggs for Carter.
Nuggs for Carter.
With 2 G's. Okay, and y'all, if you know a lot about the tweeter that all these youths enjoy,
you're killing it right now.
I am killing it. I'm killing it like the Bee Gees. I don't know what that means, but I'm killing it like the Bee Gees.
Sounds like an episode title.
But the Wendy's has an excellent social media presence, and they are sarcastic.
They talk trash about everyone else. It's the best.
They do. It really reflects the little redheaded girl that runs that place. So, on April 5th, high school student Carter Wilkerson asked the Wendy's Twitter, "Hey, how many retweets would it take for him to get free chicken nuggets for a year?" Wendy's said, and they really didn't think this out, I don't think. They said 18 million. And Carter said, "Okay, we're going to get it done." So far, he has 2.6 million retweets. And so I think he's going to get it. I think he'll get it before April has the baby, maybe.
April the giraffe has the baby. More than likely.
It's a competition at this point, really. But, and it's gotten so much publicity that the CEO of T-Mobile, John Legere, he offered him free nuggets for a year if he swapped from AT&T over to T-Mobile. And kind of once again, one of these things that maybe should have been thought out better. And this happened before the recent United controversy, but United Airlines offered him a free flight anywhere in the world to any Wendy's in the world.
So you don't get kicked off the flight before you get there.
The craziest part to me is 18 million is less than is slightly more than 5.5% of Twitter users.
Oh yeah.
That being said, you've got to take like all the other countries into consideration, and because English speaking, and then like all the spam accounts and everything, but still less than, or just over 5.5%.
Mm-hmm.
That seems pretty doable. Because I think at the end of Q4 in 16, they had 319 million.
Oh yeah, I think so. And if Between the Cons retweeted him, he'd have exactly 150 more people. We could really pump him up.
I think we could.
I think we could. Well, hopefully, if you guys are listening, hashtag Nuggs, Nuggs for Carter. Carter Wilkerson on Twitter. Find him, help him get free chicken nuggets for a year. Show that redheaded little girl who's boss.
I'm more insulted. Like, why Wendy's? Why didn't he go with McDonald's? Why did he go
with
Wendy's?
Chicken nuggets are way better than McDonald's.
Well, we don't have a Wendy's here, so I guess I'm just going to have to accept that I've never had Wendy's Nuggs.
Their Nuggs are worth it.
If I have not been enlightened to the Wendy's Nuggs, so one day I shall.
I'll send you some Wendy's Nuggs.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Pineapple.
I'm sure even after being in the mail, they'll be better than McDonald's. Chris Pratt recently starred in a promo for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
We got our final trailer for GOTG a couple weeks ago. It's coming out May 5th. I believe is the correct date.
You're right.
Yeah, 2 weeks away. 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Really exciting. But this promo is so great. So the second half of it is just the trailer, but the first half of it is Chris Pratt like basically in a Walkman commercial. Like just talking about like how great it is to own a Walkman, and he like highlights all of the great features that it doesn't have, like skipping or repeating a song or streaming. It's like you started at the beginning and you play it till the end. You just sit down and enjoy. Like you're at a concert.
Exactly.
But
he makes a good point.
It's so great. It's such classic Chris Pratt. But he's also like in the promo. Obviously, he's in the role of Star-Lord. So it's really interesting that was even a conversation. Like, how do we beef up the marketing for Guardians of the Galaxy? Let's have Chris Pratt make up a commercial where he talks about owning a Walkman and why it's the best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that really harkens back to the entire character's premise. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, I think it's only good publicity, frankly, if they keep on with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
The movie might be a modest hit, just a modest hit.
Well, my favorite thing about the little promo is that he says several hundred years ago. Talking about like they made the Walkman several hundred years ago. This was invented.
Wow.
It's so funny. I love it.
Oh. I tell you, I think Shakespeare had one. Honestly, I think that's where he got a lot of his influence for his films. And his films, his stage.
We're all messed up.
We're all messed up. His stage productions that came from the Walkman that Chris Pratt's referencing.
That's probably true. But yeah, it's a really funny promo, and everybody should watch it. That's really all I wanted to say. Pineapple.
So Nintendo, if you haven't caught on, if you've never heard us on this podcast, we kind of like Nintendo a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Nintendo is currently, through the HackerOne program, is paying up to $20,000 for people to find vulnerabilities within Nintendo
and that's
Switch.
US dollars, Sony fans.
Yes, that's not just $599 US dollars, as Kaz told you. It's 20,000 US dollars.
Dang.
So, according to My Nintendo News, Nintendo, through the HackerOne program, will reward you if you're successful in uncovering exploits and vulnerabilities for the Nintendo Switch hardware and software. Now, they've already been doing this for the 3DS and the Wii U since last December, but now they've extended it over to the Switch. So Nintendo, just looking over the list of exploits, they mainly seem to be looking for kernel takeover and userland takeover weaknesses in the system. And the cash incentives start at $100, but the bigger the exploit, the bigger the reward, and the funds can go up to $20,000.
That's really impressive.
It is. So if you don't mind the possibility of bricking your Switch by trying to find exploits to get a hefty payday from Nintendo, hey, if you don't brick it and you find one, then you can buy a lot of Switches with your $20,000.
There you go.
So wait, does this mean snitches get Switches?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes, it's absolutely accurate. I mean, that's one thing. With anybody that kept up with the 3DS, the running joke was all of the stability updates. Like every other month, Nintendo would release a quote-unquote stability update for the 3DS, which is just a vaguely guised update to block an exploit. It was almost like whack-a-mole between people trying to run flashcards on 3DS or people using the browser as an exploit to run virtual console games in browser or to use QR codes to download Pokemon. Just all sorts of exploits with the 3DS. So Nintendo's serious about locking down the Switch experience and making sure that that it's as hacker-proof as possible. So if you are a hacker type and would like to make some money, see if you can hack the Switch.
Do it.
Apparently people have already accessed the browser that's inaccessible to watch YouTube and things. So maybe that's your starting point.
There you go.
Oh, yes. Pineapple.
Injustice 2, speaking of video games, except not on the Switch. Injustice 2 is coming out soon, and we're getting a lot of new content pretty steadily about the game. We got a bunch of trailers. We pretty much know everybody that's going to be in the game and have seen them like up, down, and sideways at this point. But there was a new little promo video that came out explaining the new gear additions. So you can customize as you play through and you gain experience points. You can customize your character's look, customize their outfit, their armor. You can even like change colors, which I thought was neat. But all of those like armor apparel changes come with like skill and ability boosts, which I thought was really cool. It's actually like my biggest pet peeve of fighting games is you're just fighting.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't unlock, like there's never been a great deal of content that you unlock consistently. So I've always been kind of bored with those kind of games. But I really like this concept. But you can also, on top of unlocking the gear as you play and get XP, you can also unlock special attacks, which I thought was really cool as well.
Oh yeah.
So you can unlock like the more complicated combos that result in like really cool attacks. So it's really neat. I'm really excited about it. I have the first Injustice game. I really like it. It's if for no other reason, it's a good party game. And it's fun to watch people get frustrated over it. That being said, I'll probably own Injustice 2 just because they're fun games and they're good like time burners for me. That's just never been like my cup of tea in the gaming world.
Yeah. And plus, a lot of times with, and you'd mentioned kind of about the customization in certain fighters. A lot of times, if you don't have that added content, for me personally, I feel the same way. I get bored very quickly with it. I'm like, is that it? Is that all I can do?
Yeah.
My hat's off to them, at least the people that make the WWE games, and having such a robust wrestler creation mode, because it's always hilarious to see people make all these internet memes and legendary characters into WWE fighters. So it's always a blast there. So more of that, people, more added content in your fighting games.
Yeah. Well, Injustice 2 comes out in a couple weeks. May 19th is the release date. So make sure you pre-order from your local GameStop if they're still open, or
Electronics Boutique or Babbage's. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but Amazon.
You never lived until you've been to a Babbage's.
No, I don't think I want to go to a Babbage's. but just pick up the game. That's what I'm trying to say. Just pick up the game, play it. It'll be a fun time. It looks like it's going to be really, really great. Pineapple.
Okay, guys, and we've announced it previously on here, but coming up, it'll be Friday for you guys if you're listening on Thursday, April 14th. Technically at midnight on Friday, so Thursday, Friday at midnight, Mystery Science Theater 3000, the reboot, I guess you could call it, or the sequel, whatever you want to call it, is being released on Netflix. All the episodes are.
Yay!
I know. And they put out a trailer for it a couple weeks back, and it looked pretty good. What really excited me, though, about it was that they did a Q&A with Crow and Tom Servo at Netflix headquarters, and this was really the first time that I really felt like that, wow, well, they really nailed it on the head with how the bots act. Because Crow and Tom Servo, the robots in the original, have very distinct personalities, and they're not political at all. They're almost childlike in how they act. And that Q&A with them really reflected that. And if you guys have not really kept up with it since the Kickstarter happened, when they did kind of a preview of the voices, Tom Servo had a very gangster type voice. Whenever they were first doing the Kickstarter, the voice actor had not really gotten his voice down at that moment. The voices are now, at least for the current series, from what I saw with the Q&A, the voice actors have the voices pretty much down to how they were in the original series, which makes it even feel more like you're coming home with it. And one special thing I thought was whenever they were asked how Jonah, the new host, is in comparison to Joel and Mike, and the bot said, well, Joel's more kind of like the creator, kind of like our dad, Mike's kind of like the quarterback older brother who's there for you and that you have fun with. And Jonah's kind of like basically a hipster. And doesn't really, kind of like you just tune him out. He'll talk for 30 minutes about something you don't really care about. And then you just tune him back in 30 minutes later and he's just still talking about the same thing.
Aww.
And you just pick up. So, I feel like they really don't really like Jonah. So, we'll see if that kind of moves along as the season progresses. But
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, but from the Q&A, they just kind of see Jonah as maybe kind of a dirty hipster type. Kind of like Chris Laney pre-2013. Oh!
Got him.
I got him. Once a Starbucks, always a Starbucks.
That's fair. Hashtag to be a partner.
So anyway, watch for Chris Laney in the Box coming up on Friday.
Sounds like a terrible band name.
It does. Madison and the Lowball Six. Yes, another terrible band name.
And Pineapple.
So here's something certainly catastrophic. Walmart has decided that they are going to try and compete with Amazon, and they're going to get some drones.
Yeah!
Drones. Walmart. The kings and queens of, second rate. They are going to put flying machines in their stores to make deliveries.
Do you... This is going to sound really bad, but I would be so excited if the drone brand was Sam's Choice.
I'm trying to think what Walmart... Because Walmart has their own... Because they split everything into sub-brands. Yeah. So it's all the food is great value.
Yeah.
And...
Equate is another one.
Equate is the
health brand.
The pharmacy stuff, yeah,
yeah.
Vitamins and Band-Aids and stuff. I'm trying to remember what their technology brand is because I know they have one.
On ONN.
ONN?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
That doesn't sound familiar. But I believe you. But Best Buy's version is Insignia.
Yeah.
So it's they have that. It would be funny if they were the generic Walmart brand drones. That would be awesome.
And my fear, there's so many fears about this, and they filed the patents, and they have all these long details. I don't want to bore you with the details, because it's just a much more fun conversation about how bad this could go. Just imagining how heavy objects flying over your head at Walmart. Mama, get the drone to go get me some laundry detergent.
Buy a Walmart brand machine.
Yeah.
I don't trust a Walmart brand machine in the self-checkout line.
No.
So I certainly don't want one flying over my head carrying something.
It just seems like a major liability.
Yeah.
Maybe
they'll just put a net up.
Maybe so. I certainly hope so. Just consider the demographic of usual people. Everybody shops at Walmart, but considering the Walmart demographic in the South, the gun-toting, just good old boys, if they see Mr. Droney coming after their woman cousin, then they're gonna shoot it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just what's gonna happen.
Rise of the machines.
It is. I saw that woman looking at my drone. I'm gonna shoot anyway.
It's not gonna end well. That's all I know.
So I just see lawsuits. So if drones come to Walmart, do your best to get hit by one, and you'll be a millionaire.
That's not the point.
Yeah, no.
That's totally the point. Get hit by a drone.
Exactly. Be sure you have your neck brace in your pocket for when it happens, so you can just pull it out and immediately start flailing in the floor like you have a severe injury.
I do feel like that the electronics associates, the poor people in the photo lab and electronics associates, will be so happy, though, to have a drone grab those bicycles out of the rack and haul it to the car for the people.
Yeah, I'm sure. And like the big 60-inch TVs.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that would take like 40 drones, but you can dream, right?
Hey, man, I watched the Super Bowl halftime show. I know that drones can work together. So.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
They can, but they can't get one left shark to do the right thing.
Wah, wah.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. That was my pineapple. You
Oh,
pineapple.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was done. Anyways, that's everything we've got for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. You guys know how this works, but we're going to run through it one more time. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, check out Patreon. It's like Kickstarter, but monthly. Satchel Podcast Player, where you can tip and tweet while listening. And Amazon. It's at the bottom of our website. Just go to our search bar, search whatever you want. It pops you over to Amazon. And whenever you check out, we get a little kickback on your purchase. Check out BetweenTheCons.com. It's that website I was just talking about. You can stream all of our episodes online, link out to all of our social media sites. If you like our theme music, check out Afixa. And then make sure you guys tune in on Monday, because we're going to be back, and we're going to be talking about plot holes and tropes that make no sense at all, and you don't want to miss it. So you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday.
Bye.
Mjolnir.
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 Mjolnir.